Hi there. Today we're going to see how to add lights with motion and how to render a 3D animation in Cinema 4D and Redshift. This is the third part of this series, so if you'd like to see how to create this collapsing text animation and how to add a 3-camera system, check the previous videos through the links in the description. Also, the project files are available on Patreon and Gumroad, and you can find links on the description for them as well. Let's play the animation to see how it looks so far. Okay, I will add a total of 3 lights. These are the key light, the fill light and the backlight. These 3 lights create a basic 3-point lighting setup, which is the most common method used in photography, video, film and 3D. The key light is the main line source that defines the subject's shape and produces the strongest shadows. The fill light is a softer light that reduces shadows and lowers contrast without overpowering the key light. And the backlight is placed behind the subject to create edge separation and add depth. Okay, let's start by adding the key light first. I will add it as an area light from the lights icon and put it on the left side. I will also move it slightly above the object. By the way, if you have the stage active here, I will unclick it and also deselect the camera as well. So when I will move them new, it will not have impact on the cameras. The light is this square here, so I will move it back, upwards, and then embed on the left. I will also rotate it, so I will click R on the keyboard and rotate it like this. And I would also like to make it smaller, so I would take these handles and make it a bit smaller, like that. I will click the E button to change the position a bit more, so I will move it a bit higher. Then with the light selected, I will go to the Objects tab and then I would like to edit the settings. So I will adjust the exposure if I want it to be stronger or softer. Let's see on the render view how it looks at the moment. And as you can see, it is very soft, so I will make it stronger. I can also change the camera here to camera 1 so I can see exactly how it is on this camera. Okay, let's keep it like this for now and we can adjust the settings again later. Next I will continue with another area light for the fill light. So I will position it on the opposite side of the fill light, but on the settings I will make it softer than the key light. We only want to soften the shadows created by the key light, so not be too strong. I will also make it smaller. And then again I will go to the settings, object, and then I can adjust the intensity and the exposure. Let's go back to the key light and I will also increasing the intensity a bit. So I will go back to the fill light and then I will decrease the exposure so it will not be very strong. And finally we will need another area light. This will be for the backlight. We can also change the names so we know which one is what. This one obviously goes behind the object, slightly to the side and a bit higher than the object, so it will point towards the back edges. I will rotate it 180 degrees like this and I will move it back. Let's make it smaller. Let's give it an angle and then slightly to the side so it will show. You can see here these highlights on the edges of the letters. We can adjust the settings on that one as well. Now I want to give a slight motion to the key and fill lights to make the shadows move a bit. So I will select the key light. I will go to the first frame on the timeline and on the coordinates tab I will add a keyframe on the position and rotation. Then I will move on the last frame and change the position and rotation slightly. So we can move it a bit lower and then rotate it a bit like this. Then I will add keyframes again. So I will click again on the key light and then go and add keyframes. I will do the same with the fill light. So I will select it, go to the first frame. I will add keyframes for the position and rotation. And then I will move on the last frame and I will move it a bit higher. And I will rotate like this. Now I will add keyframes again. And let's see how it looks. First I will need to enable the stage. Automatically it went to the first camera. And then if I click play, the light change is not very noticeable, but it makes it more cinematic on the actual video. Obviously the render is very slow because it needs to render it, and depending on your computer this will be slow. Okay, it looks good, so let's go to render it. Go to render settings. Here on the save tab you can select the location of where all the frames will be saved from here, and then also you can choose what kind of format you'd like for the files. You can choose any of these formats. I will keep it as TIFF files. Then I will go to the output tab, and here you can change the output size, but keep in mind that if the aspect ratio is very different from what you used before, it may change the camera framing. Then you can select the resolution. I will keep it at 72 dpi. Below, select if you'd like to export just one frame, which will be helpful to check the render result before exporting all the frames. But if you'd like the whole animation to be exported, select all frames. Just a heads up that this will not export an actual video file. It will export an image sequence and will need to be imported on a video software like Premiere Pro to export a video from there. I will show you how to do that in a minute. Okay, I will close this window and then I will click and hold this icon here and click render to picture viewer, and it will start saving the frames. Keep in mind that depending on the complexity of your project, this can take many hours. For example, mine, with the setting you just saw, took approximately 21 hours to render. And I'm using a MacBook Pro M4 Pro. So depending on your computer, it can be slower or faster. But in general, full resolution animations take hours. I have exported all these frames before, so let's go and have a look how to make this a final video on Premiere Pro. So here I have all the frames exported. As you can see, there are 210 images. And now we can go to Premiere Pro. I will create a new project. You can put the name and the folder you'd like here to where it will be saved. I will click create. Now I will need to import the image sequence, so I will click on import media. I will find the folder with all of the images. I will go to the first frame, and then on show options I will make sure this image sequence is ticked and then import. Now you can see it has imported as a video, so I will just drag it into the sequence, the timeline, and if I click play, the video is playing normally. You can make any adjustments you like on the lighting and the exposure, the contrast and everything like that, and then you can export it. So in order to export it, I will go to the export tab. You can choose the folder and the name of it, and then you can click export, and it will be exported as a video, as an MP4 video, or whatever you choose from the settings. And that's it. Thanks for watching this series on creating this 3D animation. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, comment below. The project files for this animation as well as the final video are available on Patreon and Gumroad to download and practice. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.